Tesla is always working on many things behind the scenes, and while they like to keep the details under wraps, there are a lot of things about these products we already know. Some of these details are speculation and rumors, but other things we know with a bit more certainty, thanks to Tesla talking about them directly. Today we're going to discuss some of the many Tesla products that we know are coming down the pipeline, some in the near future and others further down the road, so let's get into it, and a special thanks to Novium for sponsoring this video. As I hinted at in the intro, there's a wide range for what a future Tesla product can entail. First, it could simply be a small upgrade to their existing product that, technically speaking, is a new version of that product. For example, Tesla this year upgraded the Model S in a small but noticeable way that for Model S buyers was actually a big change. The Model S Plaid added their all-new sport seats. The details there are track-inspired bolstering with increased lateral support, suede for increased grip, Plaid decor, and more. They became a standard feature for the Plaid Model S as of April 1st. Overall, they took the Plaid and did a great job of distinguishing it from the normal all-wheel drive Model S trim with a very small change. So in some sense, we are expecting some small upgrades like this from Tesla. At the same time, we're also expecting some entirely new products. For a while, one of the most anticipated Tesla vehicles was their long upcoming $25,000 affordable EV. This car would have been built on the same platform as their upcoming Robotaxi, which we will discuss shortly, using their new unboxed production process. That process would have allowed Tesla to build electric vehicles in a much more modular fashion that would allow for greater speed, efficiency, and lower cost. Unfortunately, Tesla decided to cancel that particular iteration of an affordable vehicle in order to focus their efforts on the Cybercab and autonomy. Elon Musk specifically talked about the fact that a dedicated autonomous vehicle is much more efficient than one that is drivable and autonomous. For their future, the Cybercab does make the most sense, since they believe they are close to solving unsupervised autonomy. Because of that, the move was very disappointing to many, but Tesla eventually reiterated their commitment to building more affordable vehicles, albeit in a different form factor than was originally thought. Instead of relying on that new unboxed process, these new vehicles will, quote, utilize aspects of the next generation platform as well as aspects of our current platforms, and will be able to be produced on the same manufacturing lines as our current vehicle lineup. While that new production process was designed to improve efficiency, being able to make new products on the same production lines as current vehicles is actually a huge deal. Tesla will be able to start manufacturing these cars very quickly, with minimal retooling necessary compared to building whole new assembly lines. Tesla understands that building new vehicles in this manner won't reduce cost as much as they had initially anticipated with that unboxed method. Where it will make up for that, though, is in units shipped. During an earlier earnings report, Tesla said, quote, this approach will result in achieving less cost reduction than previously expected, but enables us to prudently grow our vehicle volumes in a more capex efficient manner during uncertain times. This should help us fully utilize our current expected maximum capacity of close to 3 million vehicles, enabling more than 50% growth over 2023 production before investing in new manufacturing lines. Naturally, that was opened up to a lot of speculation regarding what these new vehicles may end up being. Currently, there are two potential vehicles that have been dominating the rumor mill, and they seem to be the most likely. First is a smaller, stripped-down version of the Model 3 and Y. Those cars can achieve those great cost savings by removing the inessential luxury features like heated seats, the rear screen, and offering options with more limited performance and range. Also, if they make the vehicle smaller, the smaller the battery pack can be as a result, which really helps to drive down cost. It's part of the reason why Tesla says the Cybercab is able to achieve an industry-leading 5.5 miles per kilowatt hour. They said, quote, this will be our most efficient powertrain yet. That is a very specific vehicle, and its efficiency is largely driven by the fact that it is fully autonomous. But in the meantime, we'll have to see what Tesla can ship. How much can Tesla realistically strip back these cars? We might see new versions of these cars that ditch some of the new features on these latest updated models as a way to stay more affordable. I personally think that we'll see a smaller version of these cars with less cargo space, and thus allowing them to decrease the size of the battery pack. Tesla is also a global company at this point, and those cars would be very, very popular overseas. I think they'd also gain popularity in the United States thanks to their price. At the same time, though, people do love their large vehicles. As such, we also know that Tesla is working on some larger vehicle options, with quite a few possibilities for that on the horizon. One of the most commonly requested new vehicles that people want to see from Tesla is a truly large SUV, with accommodation for more passengers and cargo. Currently, Tesla has two options for vehicles with 7 seats, the Model X and Model Y. The Model X is the larger of the two options, but the 7-seater variant costs over $80,000, and its rounded shape means that it's not as spacious as other large SUVs on the market. It is fairly spacious back there, but again, the market needs a vehicle that's at least half of that price, and not everyone wants the Model X's fancy doors. The Model Y, on the other hand, has a 7-seater option, but most people wouldn't really consider it a real alternative option. Those rear seats are very cramped and are really only good for occasional use or for small children. Over the last few weeks, though, Elon Musk has hinted that Tesla is working on some larger vehicle designs, although he didn't offer much insight into what that could entail. When someone tweeted about needing a large enough Tesla for their family, he said, quote, "Tesla Robovan is in development, some other things too." Similarly, around the same time, he responded okay when someone said they need a big Tesla for their families. This could come in the form of a cyber SUV built on the Cybertruck's platform and extending its large shape, a vehicle built on the Model X platform in a boxier shape, or most likely a larger Model Y. We do have some rumors out of China for at least one of these larger vehicles, an expanded Model Y. It has been reported that Tesla is planning on producing a larger version of the refreshed Model Y with at least 6 seats and a larger wheelbase. Rumors have only circulated for this car out of China thus far, where Tesla is facing steep competition from local EV makers, and feels compelled to make a more spacious vehicle to accommodate families. If Tesla does move forward with this larger Model Y design, it would be strange if we didn't see them bring it to other markets, especially the US, where large SUVs are extremely popular. Tesla has also never shipped an entirely new vehicle shape to only one market. They standardize across the board. But the situation in China is quite a bit different. This vehicle would likely be built on the same platform as the normal Model Y and could be a great way for Tesla to offer larger vehicles, but at a lower price point than they do with the Model X. Rumors currently suggest that this vehicle is likely to come in the second half of 2025, but we'll see if it turns out to be true, and if so, what Tesla's own timeline is here. Tesla's more affordable vehicles are set to come in the first half of 2025, but it's likely that a larger Model Y would actually be a little more expensive than their current offerings. Or maybe in time their current lineup would continue getting cheaper, and these larger vehicles would take their place in regards to price. The funny thing with all of these products we're going to talk about today, though, is that Elon Musk likely hopes that none of them actually need to be made. He hopes that for the future they solve autonomy and completely change transportation, making it such that a Cybercab and Robovan can serve most of what anybody needs in regards to transport. In addition, their current vehicles, like a 7-seater Model X, could be a robotaxi that you call for your large family. This saves on resources and helps Tesla not need to make and develop a new larger SUV. It also turns them into more of a software company, earning on the back end of these rides. That's hinging on a lot of software development, however, so we'll have to see there. Additionally, it really does seem that even in an autonomous future, a larger family vehicle will be necessary. Next up is a product we know for certain is coming soon, and that is the upcoming Model Y Juniper refresh. This vehicle has long been expected after the arrival of the groundbreaking Model 3 refresh last year, and we anticipate all of the great improvements we saw on that vehicle to also make its way to the Model Y. That includes an improved ride quality that's truly noticeable. That will be a big improvement, especially when looking back to the original Model Y 4 years ago, which had a pretty rough ride. Inside, there will be better sound dampening that really makes the road around you disappear. I personally hope that they do a better job dampening the rear as well, which can sometimes create a bit of a weird air pocket in that hatchback. They will remove steering wheel stalks in favor of buttons. Some people don't want that change, but this is the last Tesla vehicle to get that change. Then there will be a redesigned interior and exterior look. Especially outside, this is expected to change quite a bit, and then inside will likely look like the Model 3 refresh. It will also have a rear screen and ventilated seats, which all add up to making this car much more luxurious. That Model 3 refresh was a huge improvement over its predecessor, and even though the current Model Y is still a great car, it was starting to feel a bit dated by comparison to all of those features. Alongside those already mentioned improvements, this car is expected to get plenty of additional exterior changes to really differentiate this car from its smaller sibling. Ever since it was first unveiled, the current Model Y was always essentially just a stretched and expanded version of the Model 3. It was built using the same platform and a great number of the same parts, and while the new version seems to be doing the same, they likely want to give this car its own identity. We've seen leaks over the last few weeks that indicate that this new Model Y is going to feature new LED light bars across both the front and back of this vehicle. Many fans have made renders of what this new update might look like, and these light bars should really give this vehicle a personality all its own. Prototypes have been spotted out on public roads a few times now, and rumors have suggested that Tesla has already begun test production out of Giga Shanghai. This car is expected to come in the first half of 2025, with a simultaneous release out of all of their factories. The Model 3 had a staggered release, with production coming first out of China, which likely slowed down Model 3 sales in other markets considerably, while customers waited for this refresh to arrive in their own market. We know that this new Model Y is expected to come quite soon, but will likely be accompanied by a price increase as well. That price increase may not come immediately, but could come soon after if they see increased demand. That usually happens when Tesla launches a brand new popular vehicle. One other welcome change for that Model Y refresh will be increased range. With improved aerodynamics that the Model 3 brought, Tesla was able to increase the range of that car without changing much in regards to the battery pack. For the Model Y, the same could be expected here, and we could see it outperform EPA ratings, which is something we're seeing with that new Model 3, and we have not seen in the past with the Model Y. Before we go any further, I'd like to thank today's sponsor, Novium. Novium makes a line of futuristic and elegant pens that defy gravity without any plugs or electricity. This Black Friday, Novium is offering a special deal to get 20% off and free shipping to most countries as well. This sleek, refillable pen floats perfectly in its stand and writes extremely well. The Hover Pen Interstellar floats at a 23.5-degree angle, the same angle that the Earth rotates on its axis. Then the premium version is 18-karat gold-plated and even includes a real meteorite shard embedded inside. Novium also offers the Hover Pen Future, which looks like a rocket. That pen features a 2-in-1 design which allows you to swap between a fountain pen and rollerball tip. Then the newly released Novium Dock showcases your hover pen, making it look even cooler. With the holidays right around the corner, Novium hover pens are a great gift idea for any tech or science enthusiast. The Interstellar gift set comes in a beautiful ready-to-gift package complete with daily productivity cards, a dock, and a notebook, making it a great present for the space and tech enthusiast in your life. To check out these amazing pens, click the link in the description below or scan the QR code on screen. Then use my code RyanShaw to get 20% off your purchase this Black Friday and free shipping to most countries. While the Model 3 and Y dominate Tesla's sales, and the Cybertruck seems to dominate the news, Tesla's older cars are still very much on the market, the Model S and X. At a certain point, Elon Musk talked about the fact that they keep making these cars, but that they are largely legacy vehicles. Still, they make up a portion of Tesla's sales, and the Model S Plaid remains their flagship vehicle with the quickest performance they deliver. For that reason, and the fact that the Model X is the largest vehicle they make in terms of occupancy, they are expected to refresh these cars. At this point, we've seen the Model 3 refresh, and it took a lot of what the Model S and X gained in 2021 with their significant refresh. So naturally, it's time for the Model S and X to step it up again and distinguish themselves from that new Model 3 and the future Juniper Model Y. There already are upgraded features there, of course, like performance, air suspension, multiple screens, passenger comfort, and gull-wing doors, but a new Model S and X refresh is expected to come sometime in 2025. Renders here show the Model S taking even more from the Roadster concept that Tesla has yet to release, and interestingly, that means taking more design cues from the Model 3 refresh as well. Outside, we could see a new front end and potentially a new rear, maybe taking that light bar strip from the Model Y Juniper refresh. Up front, they may also do a great job distinguishing this car from previous years by adding something like a light strip, similar to the Robotaxi. There are plenty of renders out there of what people would love to see from the Model S, and something like this would do a lot to distinguish the Model S and X from previous years, but it just seems extremely unlikely at this point. Back in 2019, Elon said, quote, "There is no refreshed Model X or Model S coming, only a series of minor ongoing changes." That seemed to confirm that there wouldn't be any major changes for these cars. But then, when asked if an interior revamp was coming anytime soon, he said no. Technically, it didn't come soon, since it was almost 2 years later, but it very much did come, which means we can't exactly take him at his word here. Still, it doesn't seem like Tesla has many plans to fully refresh these cars. At this point, they're almost like Apple selling the iPod once the iPhone had been out for some time. People still love it, but there's a cheaper package available that many more people want, so they don't have as much need to refresh and upgrade the car that won't ever sell that many more units regardless. Still, we do expect some changes to come to keep this car in line with their other products. Inside, we expect a few upgrades that have actually been rumored since January. The most obvious one is a customizable LED light strip to match the Cybertruck and refreshed Model 3. This would be welcomed, but kind of a no-brainer at this point too. Tesla also plans to add a front bumper camera like the Cybertruck now has. That will help with general visibility, as well as future versions of FSD. What we'd love to see would be a refresh that adds 800-volt charging up to 500 kilowatts like the Cybertruck will soon have, or steer-by-wire to massively enhance the performance that they can deliver, especially with the Plaid version of this car, but we'll see. They could also improve the Plaid's performance to beat the Lucid Air Sapphire in its 0 to 60, or beat its top range. But again, these are changes that can only move the needle so much in this price category. They would be a big change for Tesla, and they want to spend those resources where they can sell the most products at this point. So overall, those small changes are what are expected soon. The vehicles we just discussed are generally the ones that are most pressing and imminent on Tesla's plans. The Juniper Model Y refresh is expected towards the beginning of next year, and we are expecting at least one more affordable model to be announced in the first half of 2025. With that said, there are some upcoming products from Tesla with a longer timeline. We know that they're working on these products and that they'll probably come in the near future, but we don't really know how far out that might be. First up is a product that will combine all of the work that Tesla has put into their years of self-driving software, the Cybercab. Since the very beginning of their autonomous driving program, Tesla's goal has been to eliminate the need for a human driver behind the wheel. The software has improved further and further with each passing update, and while it was once something that most people would brush off, it has advanced to be a really amazing piece of technology as of late. While this software is currently available to their whole lineup of consumer vehicles, you are required to pay attention and be ready to take over at a moment's notice if the vehicle makes any mistakes. The key difference with the Cybercab, however, is that this vehicle will have no steering wheel or pedals. The autonomous rideshare service this would deliver could be called at a moment's notice, and it will transport you to your destination without any human input whatsoever into the driving. Since there is no human driver as a backup in the car, this vehicle's software will have to be flawless, and Tesla will have to take full liability if something were to go wrong. It's all of those reasons that made a lot of people assume this car would never arrive. Well, just a few weeks ago, Tesla made partially good on their promise when they showed off the Cybercab at their recent We Robot event. This two-seater car was unveiled at that event, held on the Warner Brothers lot, where it seamlessly drove guests around the back lot on their pre-mapped streets. This is far from the real-world conditions it will be driving in, where there will be infinitely more uncontrolled factors to contend with, but the demo that evening was still very impressive. I got to ride in one of these test units that night, and it was definitely a very cool experience. In some ways it kind of felt like a ride at Disneyland, and in some ways that's actually what it was, since they knew that route so well. But at the same time, it was very much a peek at what the future would look like. Tesla predicts that this vehicle will eventually become the most cost-efficient way to travel per mile, and will eventually be able to replace most public transportation and rideshare options. Tesla anticipates that the Cybercab is going to eventually become a dominant form of transportation, and while it will do a lot to move a lot of people around, they recognize it's not a perfect solution for all situations. After all, it only has 2 seats, and if you have a larger group, it immediately stops being viable if you need all of them together. That is why on the same night, Tesla unveiled another self-driving vehicle designed to transport people in much larger quantities. The Robovan is their autonomous mass transit alternative, with seating inside for around 20 passengers. This vehicle has a very unique Art Deco-inspired design that makes it unlike anything else on the road today. Tesla describes the Robovan as being, quote, autonomous transport for groups or goods, from mass transit to construction to food service. While this current concept vehicle has its limitations, especially at first look, Elon Musk did say that, quote, the view from the inside is one of extreme openness, with visibility in all directions, although it may appear otherwise from the outside. The unusually low ground clearance is achieved by having an automatic load leveling suspension that raises and lowers based on smooth or bumpy road conditions. Tesla clearly has big aspirations for this design in the future. At the event, it was effectively used as a large shuttle for a group of Tesla employees, and at this point, it's easy to imagine that being great for transportation at places like airports or large events. It also could make for a very cool autonomous van for a family or someone who travels in that way when the technology is there. Elon has talked in the past about their autonomous vehicles eventually becoming cheaper to ride in than a city bus. While they might eventually be able to fulfill that promise, the Cybercab is ultimately a very different kind of vehicle that's not great for all purposes. In large cities, the need to move a lot of people efficiently from point A to point B is the name of the game, and vehicles like the Robovan will likely be more of an effective solution. The last car we're currently expecting from Tesla is the Roadster Refresh. Tesla has pushed this car back many times, and will likely continue to do so, but they do eventually plan to release this, and it's expected to have a lot. In addition to its originally promised specs of 620 miles of range and a 1.9 second 0 to 60, Elon Musk has said thanks to a SpaceX rocket booster, it will do 0 to 60 in less than a second. He then said, quote, "and that is the least interesting part." In February as well, he said, quote, "Tonight, we radically increased the design goals for the new Tesla Roadster. There will never be another car like this, if you could even call it a car. Tesla/SpaceX collab. Production design complete and unveil end of year, aiming to ship next year. I think it has a shot at being the most mind-blowing product demo of all time." He even hinted that it can fly a little, and has hinted at that a few other times. There's a lot this car could bring, but it is also expected to look quite different once it arrives, given how much time has passed since its unveil. It has been 7 years now, so the question is, will we see it within another 7 years? We'll have to see. At the same time as all of that, it's important to remember that Tesla makes far more than just electric cars. While their EVs have revolutionized the transportation industry, the company has their sights firmly set on completely altering the human relationship with work itself. Tesla has been working on an advanced humanoid robot named Optimus for a while now, and it has developed very quickly in just a short amount of time. 2 years ago, it was a largely static prototype that had to be wheeled out on stage, and now it's a highly autonomous bipedal robot that can do a number of tasks on its own. In their most recent update, Tesla showed off Optimus's advanced AI capabilities that let it autonomously navigate the factory floor, manually charge itself, and then return to its work without any human intervention. Tesla hopes to one day replace a great majority of their human workers with future versions of these robots, and in fact has already put 2 to work in one of their factories. Those 2 robots are doing a largely trivial task of placing battery cells into a crate, but as I said, they are advancing very rapidly. A lot has changed since that announcement was made earlier this year, and it wouldn't surprise me if they had increased the number of bots or given them a bit more responsibility. Elon has said that by the end of 2025, they will have over 1,000 Optimus units working in their factories, and that the bot will be available for sale to other companies starting in 2026. From there, their goal is to sell these robots to consumers for a price as low as $20,000. It will take a long time for them to ever be affordable, but if Tesla makes good on their promises here, it could grow the company to levels that we have never seen before. Elon estimates that Optimus could make Tesla a $25 trillion company. Some of these claims may seem outlandish, but if they succeed with Optimus, then they could radically reshape the whole economy. Robots may soon be able to replace the labor of a great majority of humans, and while they will help to make products cheaper and make them more efficiently, it will inevitably put a lot of people out of work. Robots like these have the opportunity to completely shake up the entire world economy, with few jobs outside of its scope. But of course, it's a question of how long we'll be waiting until we see these actually come to be. 2026 for them to be on sale from Tesla seems like a stretch. At that recent We Robot event, we saw a lot of Optimus units being put to work around the event, including as bartenders and dancers. While most of these units were being remotely operated by humans and not fully AI, it still gave us an interesting insight into what a robotic future might look like. Like I mentioned, Tesla is planning on a widespread rollout of these robots at their factories soon, but we'll have to see. While we don't know exactly when all of these prior products will come to market or be purchasable by consumers, we do still know that they're coming from Tesla. Some may take longer than others, and in the case of vehicles like the Robotaxi, it will probably take a long time before they truly are widespread. Then there are a few more Tesla products, both expected and simply rumored, that aren't quite as much of a certainty. These include things like a home HVAC system, a Tesla phone, which Elon says they'll only make if they have to, a Tesla electric airplane, a Tesla electric boat, or a mod package that lets you turn the Cybertruck into one for a time, and then one of the ones that we want to see as soon as possible, vehicle-to-grid capabilities in all Tesla vehicles. Tesla calls this power share, and it's enabled in the Cybertruck today, but we really want to see it come to market in all of their vehicles, making them that much more useful. It's a large battery pack sitting there when your house loses power, so it only makes sense that you can use it to power your house. As you can see, there is a lot expected from Tesla in the near future. Some of it seems like it may never come, and some we should see in early 2025, so it will be exciting to watch. At the end of the day, Tesla talks about and develops a lot of products, but ultimately produces what they know they can best scale. So we'll see how things pan out from here. What products do you most want to see from them in the future, though? Leave a comment below to let me know your thoughts. In the meantime, if you own a Tesla Model Y or 3 and want to see the best Tesla accessories to get for your car, including Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals, you can check out that video linked up here or in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.